We're on a mission to find the best small town in Indiana. The Small Town Showdown Bracket Challenge is live. We picked 64 small towns throughout the state of Indiana. When we crown the champion, who is number one, we're gonna go to that small town, we're gonna open up a $1,000 bar tab and share it with anyone who wants to come. We're through the first round. Round of 64 is done. We're on to the final 32. I brought in my good friend Shane Ryder, chief bracketologist for the Small Town Showdown, to dive through this bracket, what we're seeing through round one, the results that we have, and who maybe some sleeper picks to watch out for as we get into the madness and see who is going to make it to the Sweet 16. Shane, welcome.
Welcome. Thanks for having me.
We're 1 week into the Small Town Showdown Bracket Challenge, and there have been some exciting bouts thus far. We're going to start breaking down this bracket. We're going to start down in the West region, where Crawfordsville is that number one. And we're going to dive through some of the matchups that we're seeing. We have it pulled up here. And I mean, we got to start with the number one. Crawfordsville took down Clay City. It was a pretty lofty, one-sided affair there. Crawfordsville taking a hefty portion of the votes. And I mean, anything that you're seeing from this Crawfordsville-Rockville matchup?
Oh, Crawfordsville, at least looking in the comments when you had first posted the West region, what the matchups were, everyone's like, this is an overrated one seed. Who seeded this thing? Well, we learned that you seeded it based off of approximately 18,000 population or smaller was the criteria for towns to qualify, and you went top down. So Crawfordsville is simply just the biggest town in the West region. That's it.
They set the bar of population. Yeah, because it was like there's just so much. And kudos to the real bracketologists in basketball, like Kevin Wins. Like we're just looking at, we anchored it around 18,000 and we went down from there. And I mean, that's why you see it was Crawfordsville, Clay City, super small. And a lot of these early matchups, what you saw was these bigger communities did get behind it, just like bigger fan bases do. You know, if you equate it to March Madness, they got more NIL money, they've got more ways to get the better player. That's just how the world works a little bit. And so if a small town wants to make a real run, they've got to have the love of not only their community, but other communities as well. And here soon we'll start to see a town of, 14, 15,000 versus a town of 7, 8,000 that's better known. And we saw a few of that throughout the bracket.
Without a doubt.
And Rockville has a really actually renovated main small town, main square that they've been really working on. It's also the Covered Bridge Festival. They host, Rockville's one of the, I think it's through 10 cities and Rockville's one of them. So they're going to punch a little bit up above their weight class out in Park County there. And as we move down, we have one that I'm really pumped about, but this is a tough matchup in Greencastle and Danville. Greencastle's going to have the DePaul, people from Chicago, Indy, St. Louis, all those places spent 4 years in Greencastle and have fond memories there. But Danville has that West Side Indy Hendricks County pull. And Danville's a small town that's also the seat of Hendricks County. A lot of people think it's Avon, but it's really Danville. So I could see this being a heavyweight matchup to start the round of 32 here.
Well, that entire bracket, I mean, other than Rockville, just going off of the seeding, that was your only upset, if you want to call it that. It was a 9 over an 8. Everything else was chalk in this bracket. You had Danville as a 4 versus Greenville as a 5, and then you move into the lower 4, and it's 2, 3, 6, 7 matching up. So the higher seeds held this West bracket. Opening round.
Well, this West bracket was hard too because a lot of the towns were similar sized. Your 15, 16, 14 were pretty small, but once you got in there to, I'm looking through, Bloomfield to Ellettsville to Rockville, those were all similar size, even to Princeton and Brazil. There's not a huge population disparity. The top three were Crawfordsville, Frankfort, and Speedway. And those three were really big. The rest of them were pretty similar size. Sullivan and Brazil are pretty close to each other. So I think that Speedway, no offense to my friends from Brazil, I think Speedway is going to run away with that one. And Frankfort, I just think that they're just well known from the hot dogs. I think the Frankfort Speedway potential matchup in the Sweet 16 will be one to watch out for.
That's a juicy matchup, and I like Speedway like you as well. When you've got Indianapolis Motor Speedway in your backyard.
Mays coming up.
A lot of people like going to the Indy 500, a few 100,000.
And I know if Speedway wins, 300,000 or whatever it is. I think if Speedway wins, we're going to catch a little flack on that. But this is, it's a small town within Indy. It's a very unique place that is a part of the fabric of Indianapolis. So as we move up into that East region where Newcastle set the bar, VV got absolutely smoked. It was, and if you've been down there,
what was the vote total?
Oh gosh, 2,000 and some change to like 900. It was bad. It was like
They got doubled up.
it was a true 1 versus 16 matchup. Rushville and Bern, I had high hopes for Bern. Nah, they could not pull it out either. Peru, it was another runaway there. Like a lot of those top ones. This one's interesting. I thought that Centerville, they gave them a pretty good fight there. I'm going to look and see. So McCordsville ended up scooping 60% of the votes, where Centerville got 40%. It was 1,800 to 1,100. I thought that Centerville could put up a little bit better of a fight there, but again, they're a town of like 2,000 and some change maybe, versus McCordsville, who again pulls that Indy area. A lot of people were all in on like, oh, I'd choose McCordsville over Fortville, but you still pulled the Fortville vote. So I could see McCordsville's going to have their hands full with the Circus City. Peru is like the amateur circus capital of America, maybe. They have some really interesting videos on YouTube that I've been sent recently. So we'll see what happens there. Now, Greensburg, as we go down, they just posted their own reel on their Main Street Greensburg Facebook about this bracket, saying that they need to go. Because I went out to Greensburg for one of their events, and they have this new renovated, they turned an alley into like an art space, and they host events there. And so they were in the alley with the courthouse with the tree growing out of it. Like that's what they're really well known for, is this tree was planted like, I think in like the 1900s, like a bird dropped it in there or something.
Standing.
And they've like even started to even replace out the trees if they start to die and stuff. They keep this thing alive. And so they're going to have a pretty solid matchup there against Cicero, because Cicero pulls a lot of that north side of Indy vote.
I am biased towards Cicero for one reason. I will name a few golf courses as we go through this bracket, but Bear Slide Golf Course up in Cicero, in the Indy area, at least in city limits, or maybe you just get on the other side of 465 outside the circle, you're going to spend $90, $100 a round for 18 in a cart. If you go up to Bear Slide Golf Course, you're going to play 18. The front and back at that course are very different, and you're going to look to spend maybe 60 or $65 for a round of 18. So I love Bear Slide.
And I mean, Cicero cleaned house. Well, maybe not cleaned house, but they won. They got 2,600 votes versus Union City's 1,700 votes. Union City punched above their weight class there. I mean, they were an 11 seed, pulling almost 2,000 votes, but I think Cicero just pulls like, they're going to pull Fishers and Carmel and Westfield and that whole Hamilton Heights district. Well, that'll be an interesting matchup. That's a tough one. Greensburg's going to have to rally the entire community and some local communities there. We drop down in the East bracket to the Batesville 7 seed versus the Connorsville 2 seed. We talked about it on the last show when I had Will in here. I have a large community in Batesville. I think they're going to be geared up and ready to go, and I think the community is going to show out to take down the 2 seed Connorsville.
What's Lauren thinking?
Oh, I'll be in deep trouble if Batesville loses here. Big trouble. So all I'm saying is, Batesville people, let's make it happen. I mean, Batesville pulled almost 1994 votes. So they're going to need to rally some more and get some more people on their side. They're going to get the local communities. I think it's Franklin County and Ripley County down there are going to have to show out to support the Bulldogs.
Batesville with the big German festival.
Yeah, well, Oldenburg, which is like right up the street, and people were like, "Why didn't you put Oldenburg in there?" And I'm like, "Dude, they're like 5 miles from each other. You can't put both of them in there." So Oldenburg's gonna have to jump on the Batesville train and make that happen if they want to take down a bigger city. They're the 2 seed for a reason based on population. So like if that starts to circulate in some Facebook groups around Connorsville and that area, could be trouble. We will see what happens. I think that if I had to make my predictions, I think it'll be Newcastle, again, based on population, will take down Rushville. I think Rushville will give them a good fight. I think McCordsville is going to pull Indy and rip the upset there. Oh, man. Greensburg's bought in on a population side. I think that video has like 6,000 or 7,000 views in Greensburg. I think they might be able to hold through, which is weird that I now think, based on seed, that Greensburg might be a slight underdog in that one. We'll see what happens. I think it'll be Batesville. I think it'll be. I would love it if Greensburg made it, but I think Cicero might get them there. I think it'll be Peru, and I think it'll be Newcastle.
I like Newcastle. I'll go opposite of you with Peru. I'll go McCordsville. I'm going to double down with you on Cicero. I think Cicero is going to move on. And did you take Batesville?
I took Batesville.
You have to. I'm going Connorsville.
Oh boy, the Spartans. We drop over into the South, the pandemonium bracket, right? A lot of feedback saying that we screwed Jasper out, and it's like this is based on population. Nashville is just a really well-known small town in Indiana that punches well above its population rate, and we wanted a little bit like this top section: Jasper, Nashville, French Lick, Santa Claus. We've said it. This is March right there. Like that's just pandemonium, and that's what we wanted. We're here for. You were gonna have to beat them at some point. Like, does it matter if you were a Sweet 16 finisher or you lost in the first round? You're gonna have to win them all if you want to win the whole thing anyway. So, I mean, Nashville came out, and I think they actually like cleaned up a little bit.
I think they got close to 60% of the vote.
2,200 to 13, like almost a thousand. Like you can't be mad at me for the matchup when you only pulled 1,300 votes. You know, like that's just sometimes it be like that. The one that was also tough was this French Lick matchup. I am biased towards French Lick because I've had such a good experience down there, but they did not pull it out. But it was a really tight vote. 2,600 votes to Santa Claus, 2,350 for French Lick.
It might be the tightest first round.
Oh my gosh,
across the board.
And it's like those are just really well known. I think between Holiday World and French Lick Resort and all the golf courses and stuff, that was a tough first round matchup. I'm sure my friends in French Lick are going to be pissed at me, but sometimes it'd be like that. In the Nashville Santa Claus bracket, a matchup, I'm going to give the edge to Nashville. I think that the charm of Holiday World will, the artisan community and everything going on down in Brown County, I think it just pulls a little bit more than Holiday World. I think the 16 seed continues to make their Cinderella run.
Now what? In the men's tournament, 2 16s have taken down ones.
UMBC over Virginia.
And Farley Dickinson
over
Purdue up the road.
RIP.
Unfortunately,
yeah, we don't like that.
So 2 times that's happened. Never before has the 16 won in the round of 32 to get to the Sweet 16.
So if Santa Claus holds true,
they make some history.
We're looking to make
I agree with you. I think Nashville's the favorite here.
We drop down to Brownstown. 57% to 43%. It was 1,700 votes for Brownstown, 1,200 votes for Tell City. I mean, we just didn't get in those small communities. Like everyone's got to be on the social media that day, and they got to get it ripping through the Facebook groups and whatnot. Like there is a strategy on how to win these. It's some of it is about the history and like the name recognition, and another piece is just getting your community fired up. Like Greensburg is priming the pumps to make that happen. We're gonna need Brownstown to make a little bit of run because Rising Sun has the casino down there, and people know Rising Sun. It's a beautiful picture too. It's like right on the river. This is a 12-13. You think we had a 12 win and a 13, both took down higher populated areas. That means communities are bought in. The thing I will say is I just did a video on Seymour last weekend, and that's Jackson County where Brownstown is. So Jackson County is in my feed. Like it's relevant to them. They're invested. Rising Sun's going to have to do a little bit of damage if they want to take down this 12 seed.
I like the 12 seed here too. I have been to that casino resort down in Rising Sun, donated a little bit of money to their cause. So I am invested in Rising Sun, but I don't see him pulling the upset.
I don't think so either. A fun fact that you want to keep on your radar, I think that Rising Sun actually might be in the process of losing their casino. And it might be moving up to New Haven and Fort Wayne. I think there's some stuff going on in legislation about that.
They keep sending me mailers like every week since I played that.
Well, they're trying to make sure that they can keep their casino. But I think there's a thing on that. I need to do a little more research before I say it like officially. But there's something going on with the Rising Sun Casino. We drop down to what I believe to be potential Speedway, maybe, but Madison might be the toughest 3 seed in the bracket. If you've been to they're trying to be Indiana's Music City, all this stuff. A huge like golf car river community down there. Their marketing team, like the people who run Visit Madison and stuff, do a really good job. I think they're going to be invested in this. I think they'll take down North Vernon. I think that one's pretty chalk.
Yeah, I agree. Madison right there on the Ohio River. I think just one of, we can call it a hidden gem if you want to call it that, but it's just a beautiful city. The landscape down there in southern Indiana, it's tough to beat. I mean, you go through all 16 teams in this region. The South region was stacked. We saw it in that first pot of 4 with Jasper losing to Nashville and then Santa Claus and French Lick. But you go throughout this bracket, you get down to Brown County and south of that, it's just rolling hills. It's beautiful terrain, and it's hard to argue with any city being better than the other.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to see how this one shakes out. We drop into Salem and Bedford. This is like a little bit as I think through this whole bracket down here. From a name awareness perspective, I think these ones have the least name awareness probably. Salem pulled a big, I don't know if it's an upset, but a great win. Corden's the first state capital of Indiana. So I think they had some name recognition from that. And Salem has the Speedway down there. So for them to pull that win was big. They're going to run into a Bedford team. This Bedford's just a little bit bigger. I could see Salem in the history of the Speedway. Like, I mean, Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, AJ Foyt have all raced down there. I think Salem can pull this one out. It'll be tight. We'll see what has to happen there.
Yeah, I think. I mean that top pod, 4 teams there. You had 3 lower seeds win. Bottom North Vernon was your only lower seed. I mean this pod, this region was just chaos from the start. Does chaos continue in the round of 32? I mean, do we have lower seeds? Do we have Nashville? Do we have Rising Sun? Do we have North Vernon? Do we have Salem?
I could see Nashville, Rising Sun, Madison, Salem. I would actually not
just
be
one higher seed.
I would not be surprised. I think North Vernon has its hands full with Madison.
With Madison, I agree.
Well, I mean, it's Madison.
Hey,
My
that's
prediction.
why you play the game.
Absolutely. My prediction would be Nashville, Rising Sun. Actually, Nashville, Brownstown, Madison.
You gonna go with the 7?
I'm going to 50-50 on the lowers. I'm going to say Bedford's going to win that one.
Yeah.
But it's going to be it's going to be close.
It will be. I think Nashville comes out of this region.
You
I
think
mean,
this-
after seeing that,
Nashville is a wagon.
they blew away Jasper. And if you're from Jasper, you love Jasper, and you got waxed by like 1,000 votes by small town Nashville. Now it's not everyone from Nashville, but it's people that have gone there, have enjoyed their experience, and think, yeah, this is the best of the best.
Yeah,
a 16
it's
seed
going to
run
be
in the Final Four.
The South bracket, the South region is madness, and I hope the madness continues.
I do too.
Now we move into the North region. Let's address the elephant in the room. Bourbon got smoked by Auburn. I'm unhappy about it. Let's just
But
say
they have
that.
an automatic bid every year, right?
They have an automatic bid, auto bid
They're
every
in their
year.
own conference,
Yes.
one team conference.
Auto bid. I mean, it was bad. 2,000 votes to 943. One of the most lopsided first rounds, which is good in terms of content. Like, now I know that more than just my hometown bourbon people follow and engage with my stuff, because I put it in the Facebook group. I was trying to like get some juice going. Couldn't do it. We could not pull it. It was unfortunate. But if we go back up to the top, Warsaw and Shipshewana was almost pandemonium. If I go back and look at it, it was a very, very tight race. Warsaw, Shipshewana, 56-44. Warsaw pulled 2,900 votes. Shipshewana, a town of under 1,000, I'm pretty sure. Population 855. They pulled 3 times their population, 2,318.
Good for them.
That was a heck of a. I mean, you gave them all the. It was kind of like a little bit of like the Purdue High Point game that we saw. I mean, granted, that's not a 1 versus 16, but they gave a good fight, honorable. I think they could be back in the mix next year.
I mean, that's like Milan against Muncie Central.
Yeah,
in 1954. We just saw that
in
the newsletter.
54. Come on. Yeah, pretty insane. I mean, Warsaw. I think that Warsaw and North Manchester are pretty close, and I think Warsaw will roll again. I don't know. We have the ice cream shop Chills and Jansen. We talked about this on the last show. Can he rally the troops in North Manny? Oh, but North Manchester also has the college. So if you can get the college kids and that,
If it hits the college kids algorithm, they're gonna be like, heck yeah, that's why I came here.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
love North Manchester.
Yeah. As we move down, I think I'm gonna have to give it to the Hornets here. They're gonna have a tough matchup in Plymouth. Plymouth's a little bit bigger, but Angola is, right up there in northeast Indiana. They've got a strong community, and we've done a small town breakdown on them. I got a lot of feedback on that. I guess there's something going on with the donut shop there, and I won't allege to what's going on, but I guess I was in the wrong and should have done some more due diligence there. Apologies in advance. But I do think that that community as a whole is going to rally. I think they're going to win that game. This one, we're going to see.
This is a juicy match.
This is, and I don't even know how juicy it'll be. Like,
I lean Monticello.
Oh, heck yeah. I think that everyone knows Indiana. And you're going to find that the cities that do well here have that piece of people's childhood. From Holiday World to Brown County in Nashville to Monticello and Indiana Beach. I think that Monticello will pull a hefty amount of the votes here, and I'm here for it.
What was their matchup with Tipton? How'd that play out?
67-33.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Monticello. I don't know. We've looked through a lot of them today. I don't know if I've seen anyone break the 3,000 mark. 3,040 votes. They might be our high scorer of the first round. I might need to look through that. Versus Tipton's 1,400. So, I mean, one, kudos to us for pulling 4,500 votes in a matchup. That's pretty insane. And Monticello ran away with that. I think that they will continue to roll. And I could see, I think I picked early on Monticello as like a Final Four team for me. At least
That's
Final Four team.
That's a good pick.
I think that just so many people know Indiana, and their whole shtick was there's more than corn in Indiana. So we'll get to roll there. Rochester versus Auburn. Rochester Zebras versus Auburn, and that's the DeKalb Barons. And again, I have a little bit of animosity towards Auburn because they smoked my hometown. If we looked at percentage of the vote there for, Auburn and Bourbon, we know that Auburn ran away with that one.
You said like 2,100.
Auburn got, almost 22,050 votes. Rochester, they pulled, 71% of the votes. 2,989.
To how many for Westville?
1,200. People either love Rochester or don't know Westville. I think that's going to be a spicy matchup. I think that Rochester and the Lake. But again, I'm from that area, so I know more about them. But I don't know. I don't know if are the Zebras well known enough to pull it?
They might be. That had 4,100 total votes.
Yeah,
and some change. What was the total vote between Auburn and Bourbon? Just over 3?
Total vote between Auburn and Bourbon.
I think you said 2,250 for Auburn.
It was 2,050 to 943. So just over 3,000 votes for that one.
And then you had over 4,000 for the other.
Yeah. Well, the longer it goes, though, the later ones, like more people were invested in voting there, and you kind of got the system. And so as I look through, high scores. Oh, Greencastle was our first one in the thing. Greencastle actually also did 3,290. So I think Greencastle was our high point for the day, or for the whole first round of the tournament. But I'm going to defer. The small town will win out here. The true smaller town, Rochester, the Lake community, Lake Manny, I think is going to win there. I would love to know your sleeper, not even sleeper, but who's your Final Four predictions?
Ooh. Final Four. Looking through the initial 64 towns, I think there were 4, maybe 5 that we had done small town breakdowns on so far in 2025. Angola being one of them. So I'm biased toward that. I'm going to take Angola at least to the Elite 8. I think they run into Monticello there. I think what Monticello is doing, I like that. That was your pick from the start. With Indiana Beach, people, that's just where they go, especially during the summer months. And I think Monticello comes out of, what is that, the North region?
The North region.
The North region. You move to the South. Man, I think you see Madison and Nashville in the Elite 8. I'm going Nashville.
The 16 rolls.
I'm going with the 16.
The 16
I think
rolls.
the people will latch onto that too as this bracket plays out, and they understand that, the 16 seed took down the 1. Let's make sure that wasn't the only time they win.
And they're going to latch onto that, and they're going to yell at the people who made the bracket, and I'm going to continue to get hate for that. But that's fine. It's what we do this for.
So I think you could see that's a 5 seed versus an 11. I'd say Monticello to the Final Four. So you got an 11 against a 16, which is great because they are truer small towns.
They are
of
smaller
Indiana.
towns.
They are smaller towns.
This one gets hard if you go out to the west
east,
here.
Yeah, you go out to east and west. West, I think this is where you see Speedway in a town that has some size to it. And again, a lot of these towns, people vote for them based off of their memories in the towns. Is there a good restaurant? Is there a fun attraction? Well, in Speedway, you go through the remaining 8 towns here. There is no better attraction in this West Pod.
In this bracket.
In the bracket.
The best attraction in the bracket is the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
The greatest spectacle in racing happens in Speedway. That's a hard thing to overcome.
I do think that people will see it and be like, well, they're not
too big.
They're too big, too indie, too this. So I don't know. We'll have to see there. But who's your prediction coming out of the West?
Speedway.
Speedway.
I like Speedway.
And then out of the East,
The East, this is a tough one. This is probably the toughest to predict. In all the higher seeds held true, so you have the 8 biggest small towns remaining. There's 1 through 8 there. There's no upsets.
9, Rockville over Ellettsville. The only upset. in there.
No. Upper Pod, the East.
Oh, yeah.
Rushville was an 8.
Rushville's the 8. Yeah, everything held
every
true.
bigger small town won first round. So
was
now you've
chalk.
got it's a chalky bracket. Now you've got the biggest towns matching up against one another here in the round of 32. I'm going with the biggest town.
You're going
Give me
Newcastle.
Newcastle. Give me Newcastle.
Okay.
Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame, the Fieldhouse, the biggest gym in the world. Over 8,400 fans can
Biggest
pack into
high
that
school
thing.
gym in the
Biggest high
world.
school gym.
Yep.
Pardon me. Give me Newcastle.
You're picking Newcastle.
I'm going Newcastle in the East.
I'm
This is really
Cicero pulls Indy.
Yeah.
I think that the small town charm. I have to do this. I have to do this. I know. I want.
paid to do
I
this.
want to do this. I want to do this. This is what I want to do. I think the small town charm of Freudenfest and Oldenburg mixed with the Bulldogs and the heritage of the small town in Batesville are gonna will themselves to a Final Four run here and take down the giant that is Newcastle.
They got 2 giants to take down. 3.
I mean, they're gonna have
it'd
their
be-
hands full with Cicero.
It's a gauntlet.
And Connorsville, I think they can do. They're gonna have their hands full with a Cicero or a Greensburg, but Greensburg's like their rival. Like they're 25 minutes away from each other, and there's bad blood there. So that's a rival.
like
We'll see
that.
what can get going. It is like a true small town rivalry there, and I think they can make a run. That's my prediction. As we get out to the Final Four, my way too early champion predictor.
Who was your champ?
We haven't announced who we think will be the champs yet. I think that Nashville is really hard. I think that people love it there. I think Madison is my sleeper pick to win this bracket.
I think they're on a run to the Elite 8, without a doubt. I'd be curious to see what the vote totals get to as well as this bracket narrows down and you get you get to your Sweet 16.
I wonder if people will still be as invested if their towns get bounced and vote for other people's towns, or if they're like, oh, my town's not winning, I'm out.
And if your town loses, do you vote for the town that beat you?
Or-
I say yes.
or do you
want to
vote
lose to
for-
the champ? Like, hey, we ran into the champ in the round of 64.
What do you want
built
from
this,
us?
Whoever built this bracket just gave us a horrible first round
Yeah.
matchup. We couldn't do anything about it.
I mean, only time will tell. Who do you have for your champ?
You took Madison. I think we see something that will never happen in the men's or women's bracket, and a 16 seed wins it all.
He's got
I think
Nashville.
I got Nashville.
Give him Nashville. We both have champs coming out of the South. I don't know what that says about the rest of the state. I don't know. Maybe the South is just, they breed small towns down there. We'll have to come back and look at this tape as the bracket continues. Voting is live. We'll go Monday, Tuesday, probably Wednesday. We'll have voting on my Instagram story. Make sure you check it out at Nate Spangle. Subscribe to the channel. Follow along. The winner of the Small Town Breakdown. We're going to rally the troops. We're bringing some of our squad. Your squad should meet us there. We're going to this small town, and we're starting $1,000 bar tab. I am putting up $1,000 for people to enjoy. If you're a business owner or you're someone that wants to be a part of this and match my $1,000, we'll run it up to $2,000. We'll run it up to $5,000 if we have to. If you want to be involved in the Small Town Showdown, hit me up. Make sure you vote on Instagram at Nate Spangle. Thank you to Chief Bracketologist Shane Ryder for coming on the show. And let's just see who's going to be the best small town in Indiana.
When we get to a Sweet 16, can we go into every town and handpick what that dive bar is going to be? Should we call out?
Should we call it, or like get them to a vote and be like, hey, what do you want? Where would you want us to go?
Yeah.
We got to let the people vote.
That's for sure.
And get them attached into the dive bar. It's a good thing that Shipshewana didn't win because they don't have a bar. They're a dry city, or a dry town.
They saw what the winning prize
They were like,
was.
we were just gonna get a bunch of pies up there. That's what we were gonna do. All right, make sure you like, subscribe, follow along. See us on Instagram at Nate Spangle at Get Indiana, and we'll talk to you soon.